What the fuck is up, you bunch of degenerates? We are back. I'm your host of the SkullTank, BJJ Frank the Tank. Join with me today, man. We've got very special guest. This man's been a legend amongst this game for a while now, man. And I want to say I probably met him about 3 years ago, and he's helped so many people learn how to play the game, particularly their striking. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nitedown.
Yo, 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 what's up? Appreciate you having me, Frank. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Yeah, I've been wanting to pick your brain for a little while, man. I know a lot of people are interested in this shit. So, uh, how's
Yeah,
how's your day going?
pretty good. Just came back from the bank. Had to take out some money, life stuff, rent stuff. But here we are on Frank's podcast. Um, dude, yeah, I've been meaning to do an episode with you because I know you've had a podcast for a while, but um, I don't know what your schedule was like. So I was like, let me just message him and see what's up.
Yeah, that's what's up, dude. Honestly, it's one of them things where I don't forget that I have it, but sometimes I forget that I have it. Like, 'cause I don't do it on any kind of like I don't do it like every Wednesday I put one out or whatever. I just kind of do them as we've been going, 'cause it kind of started as just a companion piece to the league, and then we've gotten so far off in the weeds and shit. It's just kind of turned into basically a regular podcast.
Yeah.
So
Um,
how's weather and shit up where you are, man? You guys getting fucking hit with a bunch of cold or?
well, definitely doesn't snow as much as it used to here before in Connecticut. Like when I was a kid, it would snow here all the time. Like it still gets really cold, but other than that, as far as like snow or like winter storms, like we don't really see that as much as we used to here,
Really?
which is
Okay.
good. Yeah, which is good because I hate the winter already as it is. So yeah,
I feel you, dude. I lived in Cincinnati and Kentucky all my life, and I don't fucking miss that shit. I've lived in Florida for about 10 years, but even fucking Florida got snow this winter.
yeah. Oh yeah, I heard about that actually. I used to live in Florida. I used to live in what's it called? Kissimmee?
Oh, no shit, man. I'm only about an hour away from Kissimmee.
Yeah, yeah. I used to live there a long time ago. It was like in the middle. It's in the middle of nowhere though. So like I remember one time I was like, my cousins lived up the street from me at the time, and it was like early in the morning. Me and my brother went to their house, and we're ringing the doorbell, and a freaking rattlesnake just shows up out of nowhere, and then like literally like it went up on his like on his tail, whatever, and I didn't notice it was a rattlesnake until my brother pulled me over, and then he tried chasing it down with a BB gun, but
Yeah, dude, that they do be having that shit here, man. And
yeah,
I saw a pygmy rattler when I first moved here. I went for a job interview and I was walking up the steps, and there's so many of them little lizards around here. Like you just kind of after a while you stop even like noticing it. And I thought it was like a lizard, and I looked down and it's this little rattlesnake like 3 inches fucking long. And I'm like,
yeah,
Jesus, like what the fuck is this thing? And then another time we heard a rattlesnake. It must have been a sizable one because we had our window open and we heard it. It was nighttime. You could hear it out there fucking rattling.
yep.
And so like the next like week, man, I'm like, like looking around before I walk out to my car and shit. Like I ain't trying to fucking meet my demise by a rattlesnake.
Yeah. I lived over there. It wasn't for long. It was probably like for less than half a year or so. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, man, it's I love it down here. It's I mean it definitely gets fucking hot, but on the last couple years I lived in Cincinnati, like we had like negative 45 wind chill and shit, and I'm like, dude, I'm just not my pipes were busting my house. Like I just don't miss any of that shit.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, well, enough on the weather, I guess. Let's talk what people really want to hear about is some UD3 shit. So what's your
Yes,
I want to
sir.
say I probably met you like 3 years ago in the it was the Undisputed Legacy server, I think back then. And I think I played with you the first time on PlayStation. 'Cause back then that was the only way that people knew how to play it. I don't think the emulators were working. And I was always an Xbox player, but I had made it I did a jailbroken PlayStation to do the online with because the PlayStation was free or whatever. And I played with you, and I'm like, dude, this guy's on a fucking next level with the striking and shit. I'd never seen anybody doing what you do.
Yeah, like so you do you want me to take it back from like '09?
Fuck yeah, man.
UFC?
Yeah. When did you start with all this kind of shit?
Okay, so
Well, first, how old are you, man?
I'm 28 right now.
Okay.
When I first started playing UFC, I was around 13, 14, I believe so. And I remember I was living in Puerto Rico and the UFC Undisputed 2009 demo was out. And I believe it was Chuck Liddell and Shogun, right? Those were the only two I think playable characters in the demo. I could be wrong, but I remember playing the demo and just being obsessed, right? And then a few months after, we moved back to the States, and I remember thinking like I was so good at the game after playing the demo for like countless hours that I went to a friend's buddy, a house friend of mine's, and they have the game and there's a bunch of us and I'm like talking like, yeah, no one's gonna beat me in this game, dude. Like I played a demo and I'm like the classic rookie, right? I can only play on, I'm used to playing on the red corner. I'm not used to playing on both corners. And I remember just getting taken down and just ground and pounded. I was like, fuck. So after that day, I made a promise. I was like, bro, I gotta get this game and I gotta make sure no one takes me down and just beats the shit out of me. So time passes. I eventually get a copy of the game, and I start playing online. But I don't have we I didn't have online like installed at our place for the longest. Like I would go to my friend's house up the street, and I'd sleep over on the weekends, and I'd bring over my PS3,
This is
and we'll just
still in Puerto Rico.
no. So we're back in the States now. So we're
Okay.
back in the States. I eventually got a copy of the game, and I started playing it.
2009, we're still talking about, right?
Yep, UFC Undisputed 2009, and I was playing obviously offline at the
Right.
most at the time because
Were you Xbox at this time or were you PlayStation?
PS3.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
I was on the PS3, and I was playing offline, and then on the weekends I would sleep over at my friend's house and we play online. Um, and I'd use probably like my most playable characters are probably like Sean Shirk, BJ. Let me see who else. Maybe Diego Sanchez, and then but back in the day, people don't even know. Like, well, I'm sure they know, but the popular weight classes are actually the bigger weight classes, like
Right.
light heavy, heavy, middle. Like those weight classes were a lot more popular because they just had more fighters. And so I did spend most of my time on those weight classes, but played that for a bit. Didn't play too much online. Like I got really good at the ground game though. Like I came in playing the demo as a striker, but then once I got a copy of the game, I went full ground game. And then
The ground
fast
game is
forward,
so good on 2009 too. The
it's
submissions and
so good.
everything, they're amazing.
It's it's amazing. Then fast forward and Undisputed 2010 comes out. I'm still on the PS3. I remember I pre-ordered the game and I didn't play career mode on that one. For some reason, I tried getting into it and I just couldn't for some reason. Like '09s, I was able to get into it and like finish it and stuff, but with 2010s I couldn't. Still didn't have online at the time, so I would bring it over to my friend's house on the weekends. And that'd be the only time I can play. Um I think once UFC Undisputed 2010 came out and they added the swaying, I think that's when I kind of fell in love with the striking. Though, like the striking is not very like versatile compared to UD3s, obviously, because when you're up close, you can only really throw elbows.
Right.
But
You're
as
talking about 2010s versus UD3?
yeah,
Yes.
like after playing 2010, I fell in love with the striking, but I was still a ground guy though. Like I was still primarily a ground guy. Like I would be that guy who'd pick Damian Maya middleweight and just try to submit you right away,
Right.
and just rotate the fuck out of my sticks. Uh, and then fast forward, I'm in freshman year of high school, and I got a pre-order copy of the game. But now we're on a 360. No, we're still on the PS3. Sorry, we're still on the PS3. And I remember I get home from school because I had my mom pick it up at the time, and I'm like, "Where's the game?" She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to pick it up tomorrow. So I was like, fuck. Then I come back from school the next day. I was like, where's the game? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to pick it up. And she's like, no, I'm just kidding. It's in the drawer. So, so I grabbed the
But
game.
gave your little ass a heart attack, like Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. So I grabbed the game. I called my buddy over. So yo, come on, I got UD3. Let's play.
So
And the
that
first,
this is UD3 now. We're talking.
yeah. Now
Okay.
we're in UD3. I call my buddy over, and I'm like, yo, let's play. And
And yeah, you had pre-ordered this. Well, I must have missed
yep,
that part. Okay.
I pre-ordered it. I think you get like a pre-order bonus if I remember it. Like you
Yeah,
get
you
like
got Alistair Overeem, I think, or something.
yep, yeah. So I pre-ordered it. I get the game. I call my buddy over, and the first thing we're doing, we're just looking at all the characters. And one of the guys I wanted to see right away was Donald Cerrone. The second I saw Donald Cerrone, I chose him. That was like the first person I ever picked on it. And then
That's ironic because you're still like a fucking Cerrone main, pretty much. I mean,
yeah,
you have
yeah,
other people too, but you definitely like Cerrone.
yeah. Um, so then we're playing the game, having fun, and then I still don't have online, so I'm still in the same situation where it's like, if I want to play online, I have to, wait for the weekends to bring it over to my friend's house. Um, and I just remember all the time I spent playing UD3 was on Ultimate against the AI, either through career mode or just exhibition. And I sat there for days, for hours, just because if you play against the AI for long enough on any game on the hardest difficulty, especially like UFC, like they'll show you what is the correct counter as far as striking goes.
Right.
Like the game is literally showing you. If I throw a jab cross, they are literally showing you what counter to use because the AI makes it's gonna make the perfect move for that specific strike.
Yeah, if you want to know the counter to something, do it. You know, if somebody keeps doing something to you, that you're right. The best thing to do is just do it to them and see how whether it's a real person or in your
Yeah,
case the AI, because it's for sure going to have the solution to that problem.
yeah. So I spent like all my even like the reversing in the ground and like the timing and when to transition and the subtle movements they make, whether how their arm moves or just like any subtle movement as far as grappling, striking. Like I was able to just like take all this information over time and just like just dial it in. So it just became like second nature when I saw like even like a single collar, right? If you're sitting a single collar and they go for the double on there or they're trying to go for the
Plum.
what's it called? For the plum, right? It's like these subtle movements where I've like it's almost like programming my brain that once I see it, like it's like an automatic reversal half of the time, depending if they're spamming it or if they're like delaying the transition. It's like all this subtle stuff. But so then I'm playing UD3. That was when I really fell in love with the striking. Playing against the AI taught me like pretty much everything as far as like counters goes and like which strikes to use. And I believe UD3 did they have like a stagger system in the previous two? They did, but I don't think it was. I don't remember it being that.
You could definitely get staggered in 2009.
In 2009, yeah. I don't remember in 2010 if staggers were a thing in striking as much as it is in the other two. But pretty much just like breaking the game down from like a fundamental point is like you get a stagger, you get your shots in, you reset. You get your stagger reset, you get your stagger, shoot a takedown. There's like this small stuff you can learn as you play the game. Um, but yeah, and then I eventually started playing online. If I log into my PS3 account, my record's still only like 40 something and like 10 losses and one draw.
Nice.
Yeah, like I can log in. I should log in and post like a picture of it so you guys can see, but I didn't play much online. And then fast forward and so the game came out what, 2011? Right?
Yeah,
2011,
I believe
2012.
so.
So from 2011 all the way up to we're gonna skip now to all the way up to where I meet Devin. So in all that time frame, I've been playing the game here and there. Like I may not have been playing it as active as far as playing against other people, but like as far as just like picking it up and just like playing from time to time, like I was still playing. So then we fast forward to 2021, and I think it's 2021 or 2020. I don't know. And I see UFC Vet is streaming on YouTube, and he's playing against Devin.
Right.
I'm like, oh shit. I was like, yo, I have a PS3. Like, let's play. So then I play UFC Vet, and then I play Devin. And I remember the first time I played Devin, I was like literally had a smile like on my face, like a full grin, because it was almost like, oh, I finally have met my match.
Yeah, you finally found a foe, like an equal
Or
foe.
just like or just someone who would make the fight competitive, you know?
Right.
Not to say that other people didn't, but at that period in time, for the level of competition you could find, it was just like it was almost impossible. Like you'd be even lucky to find a person that would still play online.
Yeah, everybody thinks that they're the best in the world of this until they fucking play Devin, then it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand now.
And so I played Devin, and Devin off rip taught me the sway hooks. Like I was seeing that he was using them to the body, sway hooks to the body off the rip. So me and Devin kept playing, sparring. Dude, every days were like he'd beat my ass like 8-2, and then I'd beat him the next day like 6-4, and then like that's just how spars go. Though people think like when you're constantly sparring against people, you're always gonna win. That's not the case. It's like
No,
it's a
not at
day to
all.
day thing. Like some days this guy might be on more than you are that day. It just especially when you're playing at that high level. Uh, so then I sparred Devin for, oh my god, like I have like probably over 100 spars with Devin, like legit over 100 spars, probably even more. Um, and then I took a break from the game, and then he sent me a link to this. No, and then I found SFC. I saw that Job was live on the old
The old SFC days.
Yep, I saw he was live on Twitch because I would always check to see if people were streaming UD3 on Twitch just to see whether if it's like they're playing career mode or like whatever. So I checked to see, and I see you're live, and I type in a chat, and Devin's like, "Oh shit, dude, what the hell, night done?" And he's like, "Yo, join my server," and then ever since then, I just kind of been exposed to this whole, all the leagues and stuff.
Yeah, that's a hell of a fucking tale, man. I didn't realize you were around from 2009 era as well.
Yeah, been around for a while. I wouldn't say I'm at like what's funny is uh when I came back and I started playing on the emulator with these guys with like Slick, Devin, Dizzy, all these guys, that was when I took another leap in my play. It was like especially like just being able to constantly spar with people now
Right,
and get like different looks and different styles. Because Devin did tailor make my style as far as like defensive. Like, because Devin before, his approach to when he plays now is a lot more calculated. Like, he's not just going to bum rush you like he used to before and just
right.
try to just take you down and just beat you down. Now he's a bit more calculated. Um,
So yeah, yeah. So
but
that's cool. Because both of you guys were already phenomenal, but then like when you guys start, it's like if John Jones and fucking Daniel Cormier were to start training together. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh shit, like they were already the best. Now the fuck they're training together. Like now they're gonna even be even better, and everybody's fucked.
yeah, like I remember there'd be times where Devin would take me down, and it'd be almost impossible to get up at times because his side control game is so good.
Yeah,
His reversals are so good. So you really over time, if you play against someone like that, you learn to be more patient. You learn patterns because that's really all it is when you're smart against people. You just want to get used to the patterns, the tendencies they like to do. Um, so over time, dude, like my reversals on like it's almost impossible. Like if you take me down, like it's almost impossible to like hold me down for like more than 2 minutes or so.
right,
And if you do, I'm pretty good at not taking damage.
right,
Like blocking the head, like reversing. So it's over time playing against Devin, dude. Like just like it made my reversal so good, my bottom game so good, my takedown defense, like all of it, the clinch. Uh, so he pretty much tailor made my style to be where it is now. And then the striking kind of took a leap after started playing against all these other people, whether they were at the school I was still able to like test stuff out as far as like punishing with my cross after they land a head kick or using specific combos, like all this small stuff. But yeah.
Have you been this do you always get this obsessed with everything you're interested in, or is this a unique thing for you?
Um okay, so I'm naturally a competitive person, right? So when I play a game, um especially like UFC or Call of Duty or Halo, because I did play Halo competitively for a while. Um, when it comes to anything like that, like I have to be playing it at a competitive level, whether it's through rank play, whether it's through playing in online tournaments or anything. So there's I find myself just putting all this time in to something, especially if I enjoy doing it, right?
Right.
Whether I'll reap the reward or get what I want out of it. I'm just so naturally competitive that if I just simply enjoy doing something, I'm just going to go all in and just try to pretty much gain as much information possible.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. And what do you think it is about? Because think about how many games have come out in like the last 15 years, right? Like there's been some monumental fucking games. What do you think it is about this fucking stupid ass game that is like so hard to quit, like a drug for everybody involved in it? Like I don't know how many times I've seen people leave the servers and they're like, I'm done with this stupid fucking game or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, sure you are, bud. And then like three months later they come fucking crawling back, and I'm like, you don't understand. Like there's something different about this stupid fucking game. I don't know what it is. I've got some ideas, but I don't know definitively what it is. But it seems to be like a drug to everybody.
No, it definitely is. And I've definitely been one of those guys who was like, I'm just done playing the game. And then I'll come back for sure. Um, there's never been another game as far as like MMA goes, another fighting game like UD3. And like it's so ahead of its time and like so deep, like the more you play it, the more you understand it, the more you can appreciate how it plays, especially at the high level. Like it's really a chess game. That's part of the reason why I still play it and like will spar people from time to time. Because especially in a certain matchup, like let's say you're playing vanilla version and I'm using like I don't know, Condit and my opponent has Fitch. Like whether however your skill gap is on the game, um, if you're playing against somebody against your level, it becomes a chess match, and that for me is where I have fun on the game. Is pretty much seeing how many times I can play against this particular matchup or player before I download them.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it. Which is why I tell people when I'm sparring them, like my friend, like the Relay kid, like he's a buddy of mine in real life. I know him for a while since he was pretty much like in middle school. But I tell him all the time, like I'll spar you, but I don't want you to get too used to sparring me because like when you're playing against guys like me or you or Devin, like it actually gets worse the more you spar us because we have so much knowledge over you and so much more time played over you that um it doesn't matter what adjustments you try to make, we're just gonna shut it down. Or it's gonna come to that point where we download all the moves you're doing, all the little patterns you're doing.
right.
I don't I don't know if that makes sense, but
No,
yeah.
it totally does. Like I'm a jiu-jitsu instructor, so and it's it'd be like the equivalent of like somebody comes in, it's never done jiu-jitsu before, and I just fucking smash them. Like every single time. And
Yeah.
if I was to just okay, you're only gonna roll with me specifically, like they might learn some shit, but like you said, if they don't spar with other people that are their own belt level or maybe like one belt level above them, like they're not gonna have a they're not their growth is going to be fucking weird, you know what I mean? Like for the reasons like you said. Like I think it's very important to have people that you can smash, have people that you have like pretty equal with, and then have some people that are just a little bit better than you, and then every once in a while get your rolls in with like the baddest motherfuckers and just be like, whoa, okay, that's what that feels like. I ain't quite ready
Yeah.
for that yet, like, but uh I think that's what's crazy about this game too is like almost everybody in our league is a martial artist in real life, and that's
Yeah.
that's crazy to me. But I don't think it's by accident because like there's something about this particular game I've noticed that the same itch in my brain that is scratched by me doing MMA or BJJ sparring or striking sparring, like anything in real life, this game scratches that same itch, or at least damn close to it, because of the reasons you just said. Because it is such a chess match, you can throw so much creativity into it, just the same way you would if you were doing actual martial arts.
No, I agree with that. I mean, I used to train as well, and I do want to go back into training. Um, I used to train over here at a team called, I think it was called Team Link at the time, and the trainer was Les Richardson. He fought John Howard back in the day, who we used
Oh
to fight in the
wow,
UFC at
Doomsday,
welterweight.
yeah.
Yeah, they fought a long time ago. I remember he came over to the gym. This is when fun fact, my favorite fighter of all time, Matt Brown.
Oh
When John
mine as
Howard,
well.
yours as well?
Yes.
Let's go. But look, I love Matt Brown, dude. I love his style. I love his mentality. I love like that's my guy. So when John Howard came to our gym at the time to um to help out Les and stuff and train the kids class, because at the time I was in the kids class, even though I was like in my teens, but they still have kids class for teens and stuff. But um he came in and he did like an hour or two session with us. We rolled. He taught us some triangle techniques and all this, which is weird because he's not really a
He's not a
a
triangle guy.
jujitsu guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially he was more like a heavy hitter type guy, like a But he came. I remember he came in and he trained with us. It was really cool. But that time, his next fight was against Matt Brown, which is funny. Looking back now. Um, but yeah, so I love like rolling. I haven't rolled in a while. Like I've never been to an actual jujitsu gym, but we would row at that gym, and that was like my favorite shit. It's like chess match. It's like the best thing. It's like for me, it's like therapeutic and a chess match for me.
Yeah,
But
not
yeah,
not to be a jujitsu pusher, but like you and Devin have similar kind of obsessive brains about this kind of shit, and like Devin just recently got into jujitsu too, and he's definitely
yep,
loving the fuck out of it. So I do think that if that's something that you're interested in, I think you'd be fantastic at it, because I think you'd be one of these people, like you said, you'd just be downloading all the fucking data. You know what I mean? It's just
yeah,
like it's and jujitsu, dude. It's like it is just a fucking, it's an ocean on top of an ocean on top of an ocean, and like just when you think you've like I just shut my gym down because I moved in like August or something, so I haven't done a whole lot in the last couple of months, and I'm fixing to do some now, and I'm like, dude, I know when I go back, these motherfuckers are gonna have all these new techniques and shit, just in like the last 6 months, like, oh man, they're gonna be like having all these moves that people pulled off on people and shit, and I'm gonna have to be watching out for these fucking landmines everywhere.
yeah. No, I can only imagine. But yeah, Devin did. Devin did say he's been doing jujitsu, which is great because I love jujitsu, man. Like it's my favorite discipline as far as just like it being a chess match and all. So yeah,
Well, what I like about it too is you can literally spar as much as you want. You don't want to fucking kickboxing spar all fucking day,
yeah,
because that's just not going to be good for longevity.
yeah,
But like
yeah,
jiu-jitsu, you can fucking just kind of roll all you want. I mean, as long as I mean, you're gonna occasionally get like a twisted ankle and shit like that. But if you're safe about it and you have a good training partner, you can kind of do it as much as you want.
yeah, yeah. It's for sure a lot safer, and yeah, it's great, dude. I love jujitsu.
So I guess back to UD3 now. So yeah, so now I don't know how many fucking people that you've helped in this game, man. We've just had so many people that at least at some point in time have crossed your path and you've helped out, and then your most recent one seems to be this relay cat, man. He's getting very good.
Yeah, so he came around the time I was playing Call of Duty competitively. So this was around, I want to say, it was around the time like 2013, 2014. He's like 3 years younger than me, but I knew his older brother. I used to talk to his older brother at the time, so that's how I met him. But he came over with me from the Call of Duty scene, and then we've been friends ever since. And then I was like, he played UD3 with me at the time when I had it. But he would only play it when he'd come over occasionally to my place. So he never got a copy of him for himself to play and practice, but he'd play it when he come over, which is only like a handful of times he ever did. And then it wasn't until recently where he got a PC and all this. I was like, "Yo, dude, you should set up the game, like, and play. And there's like leagues for it you can play in." And he was like, "I don't know." Uh, he was a bit skeptical at first because he wasn't sure if he'd play the game a lot. But he's like me, where he gets obsessive about being good at it, anything as far even if it's just a game or just he just has that competitive nature. And he downloaded the game, and he's literally ever since he downloaded the game, Frank, he's been so obsessed with trying to get better at the game, just constantly messaging me like, "Yo, we need to work on this, we need to work on that," and and I'm just so sick and tired of it, man. We've done our time, Frank. Now I have to sit here and teach this kid all the tools that I've learned from playing for all these years. Like I don't mind teaching people, but like what I like what I tell people all the time is I can only teach you so much, but you have to put it to practice. I can show you what you're doing wrong. I can show you which counter to use, but if you're not putting it to practice, like it doesn't matter. Like you need to be constantly sparring or be constantly fighting in cards. Like that's the only way you're gonna improve is getting reps. So yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen so many people. It's getting better now, but we've definitely had some people, and you'll know who I'm talking about, where they'll like beg people to like teach them stuff, right? And then you'll teach them stuff, yeah, and then they wipe
Yeah.
their ass with it, and then they start, you know what I'm saying? They just go right out there and start fucking throwing haymakers and doing and spinning
Uh,
back fists, and then you just like, oh my fucking god, and it makes you never want to teach anybody anything ever again.
like okay, so Dizzy, right? One
Yep,
of the my favorite guys that I've met from all this league stuff. Love Dizzy to death. And no, and this is no disrespect to Glob. I love Glob too. He's a brawler. He's a good player. But when I spar against Dizzy, there's been times where I spar against Dizzy, and I'm like, dude, this guy could go toe to toe with anyone on a good
absolutely.
day. Like this guy could go toe to toe with anyone. But for some reason, whenever he fights Glob, he throws all the technique, all the knowledge that he knows or that I've taught him or just out the window. And he just gets cracked, and it's just like because the thing is with him, it's more of a mental thing. Like what I try to tell people when you're playing UD3, specifically striking, is especially for new players, they have a tendency of getting cracked and then try to get that get back right away.
Right.
Where there's times where you just want to reset. Like, okay, he got the better exchange, he got the counter off you, or got the better exchange, but don't be so eager to get it back. Just reset. And ends up in that situation where he gets cracked and tries to get it back so bad, and it just, you know, causes a butterfly effect after that. But yeah,
Yeah, he's I think too like he's just somewhere along the line got known as like this violent guy. You know what I mean?
yes,
So he's just like, well, fuck, I got to give the people what they want, you know? So even though I could fucking kind of technique a decision against Glob or something, like how about I just throw like 9 head kicks in a row and it's you know what I mean? So,
yeah, yeah. The IQ definitely takes a hit there at times for sure. But as far as technique goes, like I've said, like I've sparred with Dizzy for so much. Like out of all the people from the servers, like but aside from Devin, like this is probably like number two as far as like the guys I've sparred the most. And like I'm telling you, like this, I've seen this guy go toe to toe with me and be fine. Um, but it's just something about it's obviously the nerves kick in when you're playing on the competition, so it's a little different. But yeah,
I think that I might be the one that brought Dizzy into UD3 if I remember right, because back in the day, did you ever mess with Parsec Arcade when that was still a thing?
I remember one time you were like, I was like, "Yo, I'm trying to play," and I think you told me like, "Yeah, you can play through Parsec. You just plug in your controller." I was like, "Cool." I don't know if this was during that time, but
Yes, that's probably what it was.
I remember joining, but it was so laggy. So I was like, "Oh, dude, this is unplayable. I can't even."
Right. Yeah,
It was like
it's come a
10
long
frames.
way.
It was like 15 or 10 frames per second. It was really bad. It was so unplayable. But now it's like, it's way a lot more smoother, and it's easier to deal with now, especially if you have like a good ping or whatnot.
Yeah, back then, like the way it used to work was like you would just it was kind of like a Twitch stream or something, right? You can just like click on a Twitch stream and just watch whatever's going on.
Yeah.
That's how Parsec Arcade worked. Like you could do it two ways. Like if you knew somebody, you can send them a friend request or whatever. Like I would have probably done with you, I guess.
Yep.
Or what I did a lot of times, um, would I would just open my stuff up and I would just have the game up and I would just be on the left corner. I'd just wait for people. And 99.9% of them probably never played the game before in their life. So they would jump over, you know what I mean? Like I said, I could have been a fucking dick and just cannon foddered all these people. But instead, I would like let them work and let them because I wanted to create more people. I wanted more people playing the fucking game because I'm like, this game's old as fuck. I'm not just gonna sit here and just fucking clown these people. I may as well just fucking play on the computer. So I would like kind of let everybody work, and I want to say that I met Dizzy through there, and then I might have invited him into the UDL server after that. I can't remember. I know I definitely met Hamslinger. Several people that still are active today. I actually met on there just by sharing my computer. Like you would just be like scrolling, and it's like, oh, what games are available? Like, oh, this guy's playing Mario Kart. Like you could jump in and like jump in a Mario Kart session or whatever game they happen to be playing. And then that's how I used to fucking recruit people back then.
I remember now that you're saying that, I remember joining, and it was like, yeah, it was like divided into like, it was like Twitch. Like you'd look for a category, and that category being the game, and then you join and see who's. Yeah, you're right. I remember that actually.
I think that they ruined it by people were just like turning it into like sharing fucking porn or I don't know what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? Like they fucking ruined everything. Yeah, God knows what they were fucking doing on there. But yeah, I was getting like a lot of good new players off of that shit. But like yeah, Dizzy used to be horrible. Like he never played the game before really, and he was like everybody's rest round. It was like okay, let's fight Dizzy. And then to watch how good he got, man, it was awesome.
Yeah,
Hamslinger
him.
too, like it was the same thing. Like these are people that just used to be walkovers if if you're playing them.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of guys like so when I first came like when I came back and then me and Devin opened up Foxcatchers or whatever, um Slick, right? So it was Slick, Dizzy, Zips at the time, and
Kian and
Ian, but I think but
Ant,
Kian all the Kian and Ant and like rolling them, they came and like haha, they all came like towards the end of all that. But
gotcha.
as far as like the first.
You talking like SFC era Foxcatcher?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. It was Zips, Slick, and Dizzy. Those are the three main guys. Um, and yeah, I remember just sitting for hours with Slick and those guys and just sparring, whether it was me playing them or them playing each other on my host or whatnot, and just seeing how much they improve. Because like I know Slick and Zips had played the game before, so they had some knowledge of it.
yeah,
Um, but Dizzy, right? Dizzy had no, like you just said, like he never played the game before. Like he was a blank canvas when he came to you. Uh, so I just remember like sparring with those guys and see how much better they've gotten, especially like Slick in particular, because Slick there was stuff like Slick's a good learner, or he's a good learner in a sense where I can teach him something or break something down for him and he'll actually put it to practice or he'll actually make like find a way to make it work. And yeah, which is good because it was soon after that Slick won a title. Zips won my I think my freaking Grand Prix, my 16-man Grand
yeah. I
Prix.
remember that. That was cool.
Yeah, which I want to get into that because as well because I am planning on doing another one, but this time it'll be $100 prize.
Fucking hey,
Um,
dude. Yeah, if you end up, I remember you mentioned you were gonna do one a while back. I guess that never materialized. But if you need me to promote it or anything, I'd be happy to.
I got you. I do want so as far as the guys competing in it, I do want the best guys available. So
Right,
like I would want you. I'd want. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I want to put Devin because
right.
you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like
do you
it's
want Gordon Ryan winning everyday DCC?
yeah, it's really tough. But like I might just put him in just like hey, like if people
Unless
are mad about it,
If
then
Dark Savannah enters, he's gonna whoop everybody, right?
oh yeah, if Dark Savant wins, he'll win
Yeah,
alone
we're
just
all
by
fucked.
yeah, we're all fucked. But I'm not looking to compete in it. I'm at the point with UD3 where I just enjoy watching people play it, whether it's at the highest level or not. If it's under a competitive setting, I just enjoy watching people play it.
Yeah,
Um,
I could definitely relate to that because honestly, dude, like competing too much like gives me fucking anxiety. Competing too much in anything, and
yeah,
and I just like enjoying like you said, enjoying the game, enjoying new people doing it, and dude, what tell you what kills me, dude, is I used to think it fucking took like years to get good at this game because I think at one point in time it probably did. But like you said, you know, we've been playing this game forever, and I'm like, well, fuck it, you know, there's no way that these people are gonna catch up to the level of a high level player, you know, like not in any short amount of time, but like, dude, we're seeing people get fucking good, like legitimately good in like a matter of months now.
yeah. No, there's definitely been I've definitely noticed some improvement to some guys where it's like, no, you can definitely see it.
Like,
Um,
Ant's only been playing the game for like a year.
Yeah, yeah. Ant hasn't been playing the game for long compared to guys like me and you or Devin, but it's crazy to see how much they've learned, right? Or like even just moves that they're making where it's like, yeah, you're really not doing that unless you're a veteran type player, which is good to
Yeah,
see.
and it's one thing to tell some, like you said, you can tell them the right thing to do, but then putting it into action when the bullets are flying, you know, that takes another thing, you know, and it's to see people that are already doing that shit. Like, I mean, hell, like the top 10 players we've or like haha, like he's only been playing for a couple months. He's really fucking good. Um, so many people. I'd say like the top 10, most of the top 10 players this season weren't even in the league last season, and like now they're just coming off the couch. I'm sure some of them probably had some experience, but like I've watched them like go from like their, you know, like blue belt level to like their fucking brown black belt level in a fucking couple of, you know what I mean, within like a month or two. I'm like, Jesus. And I think it's just I think the spar sessions is been like everything, because just having a place where people can play anytime they want. It's like, oh, okay, if because before, like, you know, in 2014, if you wanted to play this fucking game, you were fucked. Like, you know, you could jump online and there might be one person on the fucking dead ass PS3 servers, but like that's all you were gonna hope for. And then even that, it's just gonna be somebody trying to take your head off. Nobody's actually trying to like learn or help you get better at the actual game. And I think that
Yeah.
that's one thing that I've really tried to bring into to what we do is like I think just from being a gym owner, I'm like I want the spar sessions to be treated the same way you would like a jujitsu mat session, like an open mat at jujitsu. Like I don't want people running their fucking mouths and screenshotting people getting knocked the fuck out and stuff. It's like, dude, these
Yeah,
people are coming here to try to learn how to fucking play this game and to get better at it. If you're just fucking pissing everybody off, they're gonna run off and they're not gonna play anymore. You know, then it's gonna be every card's just gonna be fucking, you know, the same four people on the card, you know.
yeah. I've never been a fan of the trash talking, in particular in UD3, and in particular with these leagues because they're very small leagues. So like you having these guys like trash talking all the time, whether it's like banter or not, it kind of like it can discourage a new player, and why would you want that? Why would you want that if you enjoy playing the game? You want the game to grow. So it's like uh you're kind of being part of the you're being part of the problem here, which can help people learn and play the game. But you kind of there's just some people where it's like and I have noticed there is a lot of younger guys here, so I can't really judge them too harshly by the way they act. But it is what it is.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me because like it's cool because I want younger players to be playing this game because like they're the future generation. I don't want a bunch of 60-year-olds playing this game, obviously. So, but it's like at the same time they just, you know, my brain expects everybody to fucking act a certain way, and you know, people that are 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, like they're not gonna act a fucking certain way. Some of them will, but you know,
No, yeah.
they've got that fucking they got that idiot in them. You know what I'm saying? For lack of better words, like they just randomly just will do some stupid shit sometimes, and it's like you just kind of have to roll with the punches in that regard. Um, you know, a lot of them will go they'll just go nuclear for like nothing, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, I understand that you're real mad and you're going fucking nuclear right now, but now you're kind of making it where like you're never going to be welcome back here again and nobody's ever going to want to play with you again because you're just being so nuclear with this kind of crap, you know?
No, I agree. And then you have guys who cheat,
He
like
wasn't cheating, dude.
Sosa.
He was spinning that thing way faster than our little fingers could move. That's all that was.
That's all that was. I remember sparring the guy and we were on a VC on the UFL server. And prior to me sparring him, I'm watching him. He has a share screen up and he's sparring these guys and he's getting fucking power leg, double leg takedowns with max stam. The guy has max stam and he's getting these power doubles. And I'm just sitting there like, is anybody else seeing this? Like, is this not like I understand if guys don't know how to don't have the best takedown defense, but like even then, you really only get those animations if the guy is really tired or if the guy just doesn't rotate his stick. So then I play him a few times, and off rip, I think our matchup was one of our first matchups was I had Mark Hominick, he had Korean Zombie. Korean Zombie has 73 takedown offense, and he was getting takedowns on me with no stamina. At that moment, I knew something was up, and even the way he acted when I confronted him about it, he got super defensive and wouldn't
Right.
let me talk. It was just,
Start swearing on his kid's life and stuff.
yeah, it's like, dude, why would you do that? And then I don't want to say any other names, but there was a guy who was defending him, which I found weird as well. But
Yeah.
I don't want to say who. But there was a guy who still defends him. I'm pretty sure. Um, but yeah, it's there's been some weird ones here and there, but for the most part, it's been pretty chill from what I've seen.
Yeah, nothing prepared me for having to, I'm like my just my naive brain like well for one I've never like been like high end competitive gamer so like I knew that there were like I knew that modded controllers and things like that existed and I'm just not in that world, you know, and I'm like and I'd seen him playing and I'm like yeah, he's getting these blast doubles to side control on like infantry and like you know all these like good players like you said with full stamina. I'm like, this seems really fishy. And then to talk to you about it, you're like, no, the 1,000%. And then so like when I had to do a little research, I'm like, oh man, there's apparently a plethora of ways that you can cheat, but I just never thought like anybody would give a fuck to cheat on a fucking game that's like 13 years old or whatever, you know? I'm like, wait, we cheating on
Yeah.
Mario Brothers now? You know, like what, where, you know, where do we draw a line with this shit? Like, yeah, I'd understand if there was like prize money or something. Like, dude, we're just doing this for fucking funsies, man. And now you've
Yeah.
made it where like you're not welcome in the fucking scene anymore. And the funniest part was that he kept getting his ass kicked. It was like you kept losing,
No,
dude. Like,
even if those spars with me or other people, like I don't know for other people, but with me at least, like I was still just walking him down and having my way with him. Even with him being able to just take me down whenever he wanted, it was still wasn't enough, which I found funny. But nothing against the guy, but I just don't know why someone would go that far to an extent to cheat on a game that you get no gain from. There's no money involved. It's just people having fun, with leagues, and I just found that weird.
you know, I imagine there's probably people that cheat at dog shows. There's probably people that cheat at fucking you know, gardening exhibits. I don't. I guess it's just like human nature that some people just cannot. It's got to just be like an inferiority thing where like they think like, oh, there's no way that I can just come here at face value. I have to have some sort of inherent advantage.
I genuinely feel bad for people who cheat because the way I feel about it, it's like they probably look at themselves like they can never be that good or don't want to put the time in, right?
Right.
Like it's fine if you can admit you'll never be at that level, but you not even attempting to put the time in to see how much you can improve or get better at something, it's kind of like, dude, like I've done it. Why can't you do it? You know?
Yeah, it just cheapens the accomplishments of others, you know. It's like you see people like Ant and Haha and stuff like these guys that really work their asses off on this
Yeah.
game to win these fucking things. Even though they're silly made up titles that don't mean anything outside of the 20 people that actually fucking follow this game. But to those 20 people, that fucking means something, you know. And it's like it means because we know how much fucking time and work these people have put into this and how many fucking times they probably got rang the fuck out in spars and just had just get fucking stomped on and just had the shit beat out of them in spars to get to the level where they're at. And now they're the one that's doing it to other people. And it's like by doing that stupid shit like that, it just really kind of cheapens the whole thing.
No, I agree. And like, dude, I tell people all the time, like, what I would do to relearn, like, to have to come in as a new player and relearn this game because that was the funnest part of the game. Is was the journey, learning how to play the game,
Hell yeah.
seeing the improvement, like day to day, week to week, and playing, like having to adjust and pretty much see every chess match possible. You know, because now me and you in particular and guys like Devin are at a point where like we've seen like there's nothing you can do as far as like your approach that we haven't seen, you know?
Right.
So that's why I always say like I wish I can go back to being a new player learning the game because that was when I had the most fun.
Yeah, it's probably like a fucking astronaut feels like after they like, all right, I mapped the solar system. Like what else? Like, well, you know, just kind of look at the stars. It's like, well, fuck, like you know what I mean? Like the fun part was like mapping the solar system out.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like, and it's I know you didn't play like a lot online, but like I was heavy online 2009 player. 2010, man, it was just you know, I was the same way. I pre-ordered it. I enjoyed it for what it was, but it felt like a concept car to me. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like this transitionary game. I felt like where it's like they had a lot of really good ideas, but the execution on all of them was pretty bad. But then like you see UD3, and it's like UD3 took all the ideas that 2010 implemented and just like beasted them. You know,
I
it's like
thought I, I thought even with 2010 having the sway system, I still thought '09 was better. I thought it
yes,
played better, even from just like from a casual point. Like I thought
it's
it
a
just
better
played better.
game. Just a better, more balanced fucking game. But I did the same thing. Like I bought 2010. I played it for like you know a couple weeks to like some career modes and stuff, and I tried to play online, and it was just a I didn't like the way it played, dude. I didn't like that auto grapple block shit it did. The submission system on 2010 was like broken.
Oh, it was
Um,
so broken. Like you
broken
crank it
as
to mission with Maya, and it was GG's.
yeah. It was just the just a completely broken game. But I never I played a couple matches online, but it was just terrible. And then I went back to playing 2009 online, and then I was balls deep in 2009. And then I was actually an alpha tester for UD3. I signed up for that, and that was cool, kind of weird because like it was only welterweight on the alpha tester game, and it was only creative characters, and like they didn't have no hair for the creative characters, so like it
You
was
were on
pretty fun.
balls.
Like everybody was like bald and stuff, so but like so people got really creative with like the shit that they did. Like they would do like these guys with like these really like high cheekbones and like make all these weird looking people with the shit, but
Yeah.
and honestly, I didn't like UD3 at first, if I'm being honest, because I was so in love with 2009 and 2010 had let me down that I kind of at first was like, I don't know, like you know, like it didn't really click with me, like especially like people would take me down and put me in side control, and I'm like, well, I'm dead. You know, I'm like, there's no way to get out of this. You know, I
Yeah,
was
dude.
just like,
Dude, that was dude, when you got put in side control and you like just UFC, well, UD3 in particular, because it's so strong. Um, I remember the first time I got put on it, I was like, dude, this feels like impossible to get out of. And then you play guys like Devin, and they're like, that's like their bread and butter. Like they're good at holding you at side control. And now I've gotten good at side control. And then once you add the side control and then you add the crucifix, that's like a whole different ballgame. Now it's
yeah,
like,
and if you're a submission hunter too, then like
yeah,
Devin is, then that's one more fucking thing you gotta worry about.
yeah. So I definitely get that side control. That shit was that part I did not miss learning playing as a new player. was getting put in side control.
You know,
Especially if like one friend, he would always pick GSP and he just side control knee me to death. I'd piss me the fuck off, dude. I'd be livid. But over time, you learn to deal with it. What I like about the game is there is a counter for everything. So there's not necessarily a full cheesy way to play the game. Like there's always a way out or a counter for something.
yeah, and like there's things that are seemingly OP, but it's like there you can also kind of do OP things to counter some of those things, you know.
Yep.
A lot of people wanted me to ban things as far as
What did it want?
like the pep
Damn.
step was obviously like the big one.
I remember you guys talking about that.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, I'm like, just let it do its thing, you know. Like you could have just as easily made that you had that idea when like the calf kick started happening in UFC and everybody was calf kicking everybody. You know,
Hmm.
they could have been like, "Oh, we don't want this." Like people's legs are just fucking giving out 30 seconds into the fight, you know, because they and but you know look what happened. Like calf kicks are still around, they're still effective, but now they're no longer like the complete meta that they once were. I'm like, everything's gonna figure its way out, you know. It's like you're always gonna see like these things become kind of meta, and then somebody's gonna figure out something from that. And like, dude, we've seen so many metas, especially as far as like the striking and stuff goes. Like, cause I got SFC days, it was just like body spamming. Everybody was just body spamming, body spamming, body spamming, and then now it's like, then it became like leg kicks were like all the rage, and then it's like now we just kind of see this range battle is we're seeing a lot of range battles. A lot of like people are just having like these really intricate wars with like exiting the pocket perfectly and then kind of coming around trying to get angles for like the body hook rips, and we're seeing Ant do a lot of like the leaping hooks like Devin likes to do. We're just seeing a ton of different shit.
A lot of track stars, I would say, a lot of sprinters. As far as like the sprinting in, getting out,
Hmm.
which is effective. I've never been a fan of doing it too much, but it is effective. Yeah, there's the game UD3 is great. As far as like the body, right? Like people get upset when you like go for the body, but it's like, dude, like you're only blocking the head.
Right.
What do you want me to do? Do you want me to just keep going to the head so you can counter me? Or am I gonna go for what's exposed, which is the body?
It's like
Um,
you're only looking at me for spamming offense. You're not looking at yourself for spamming bad defense.
yeah. Um, but once you get good at blocking the body, like you just got to get used to it because it's really just a matter of like you getting used to it. Because if you're a new player, your your instinct is to block high. You don't want to get rocked,
Right.
right? But once you start playing against players who go to the body a lot, it's gonna be frustrating at first. Um, but over time, if you can withstand the body spamming, you build the what's the word I'm looking for? You build, I guess, a tolerance or an instinct to block more low, which is good.
Yeah, it's like first time somebody when you're a baby, if somebody throws you into water, like you know, you're gonna eventually figure out how to doggy paddle, you know, and it's like you have to have those times in those kind of in those situations in order to even know how to to navigate that shit. And it's like
Yeah.
if you're just like, oh, this guy keeps punching me in the body, it looks like we're you know we need to all get together and tell Frank that we need to ban this. It's like no, like why don't you all get together in the fucking spar sessions and fucking have just one motherfucker spam that shit, and then everybody else try to figure out creative solutions to kind of deal with the problem at hand.
Yeah. It's like I had people tell me, dude, like your movement's crazy, like you're in and out, like the back and forward movement I use. And they're like, dude, that's insane. Like, how do you do that? It's if you really look at it, it's really not that effective because, especially the way I use it, like I'll use it to dash in, dash out. But there's times where you could just on the dash out, if you're patient enough, you can blast a body kick or even a cross, depending on how good your distance management is. Um, but people don't realize this unless you have a certain amount of hours played in the game or if you're patient. Like part of the reason why I like Haha is because he's off the rip when I first sparred him for the first time, I was like, dude, this guy's super patient. Like patience wins you so many fights, but people don't realize it. If people are just a bit more patient with their strike selection and their output, like I think they'd realize how much more they can win. But yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
the very first time I saw Haha fight, I don't know how long he'd been playing the game for. Obviously he had some level of experience, but that was evident to me right out of the gate watching him. I'm like he didn't like know everything as far as like reversals and stuff like that. He didn't have all that yet. But I'm like, dude, just watching his like how patient and how composed he was on his feet, I was like, dude, I feel like I'm looking at a veteran right now. Even though like it's weird because you see most new players they're running out just spamming spinning back fist and a lot of blitzing in and out. He wasn't like that at all. He was like trying to intelligently get in and out and that kind of thing.
yep.
And but he's a fighter in real life, so I'm assuming that's probably why he treats it with the same respect.
Yeah. No, yeah. I try to tell people all the time, just be more patient. Don't be so if you rock somebody, don't be so eager to knock them down. If you get staggered, don't be so eager to get it back. Like even Rely, like you guys say all the time, which me and him laugh about all the time. He said you guys are probably like you guys say, well, I bet Nitedown's in his ear right now, yelling at him or whatever, telling him what to do. Dude, this guy deafens the entire fight on Discord and just listens to music the entire time. And I'm like, I'm trying to tell him, look, dude, if you're gonna, it's fine if you deafen, but like in between rounds, like I can give you input. I can tell you what, if there's an adjustment you can make. But he refuses. So when you guys say that, I just laugh because it's like if you guys knew, like I'm not telling this guy anything. Like that's just him on his own.
That's so funny that it's like that because we've just I think just for comic relief more than anything, we kind of create this avatar like Foxcatcher. Like anytime like a Foxcatcher guy fights, you like they got you in one ear and Devin in the other, like fucking yeah, yelling at him and shit. And it's probably not like they might not even be watching the fucking fights if I'm
Yeah,
being
yeah.
honest. They probably got other shit
Like
going on.
like yesterday, I didn't watch this fight yesterday. It would have been so funny if you guys said it yesterday as well. But like, yeah, it's just funny looking at it because it's like, yeah,
Is there we're getting ready to wrap this thing up. Is there I'm gonna pick your brain on this a little bit real quick before we get out of here. Is there anything that you think the scene or the mod itself could benefit from like is you've always been like part of it but you've never been like super like balls deep active in anything but like you've always like been like a or lurker more or less I guess is the proper term for it like you kind of like you're seeing a 3,000 foot view of it and I think we're also close to the fucking forest because we're active and listening to people bitch and stuff day to day and all that kind of thing. Is there
yeah.
anything that you think that either my league or the scene in general or the mod, is there anything that you would like to see that hasn't happened yet?
As far as the scene, it would be cool because I see there's so many people in you guys' server, but not everyone's competing, which is fine, right? If people don't want to compete, you can't force them. But I would love it to see if more guys are competing because the more people you have competing, whether it's at a low level or not, it will heighten the competitiveness over time. You have more players, it's only bound to happen. And then as far as the mods go, the mods are great. Like the models are great. I don't agree with the stats for some of like for most of the fighters, um, and some of the move sets. Who's in charge of the move sets and the stats?
So for our mod right now is typically him off. And
No,
we also
yeah,
we also had like a council, so like I brought Dizzy in on it. I brought Hamslinger in on it. I had a little bit of input on it. And then Job over at SFC is doing his own stats and stuff. And from what I understand, a lot of people seem to enjoy whatever he's doing stat wise and stuff over there. But
yeah,
if that's something that you'd be interested in helping out with, man, like we would love to have your input on some of that stuff.
yeah. I wouldn't mind giving you guys my input and like specifically like the move sets. Like when you're making a move set, let's say for someone like Peter Yan, off the rip, you have to give him Mark Hominick's move set, just
For
based
sure.
off
The leaping
just
hooks and all that.
just based off the leaping hooks, the lunging hooks, like the step in jab. Like you have to give him that. I'm sure there's some tweaks you can do to it as far as the kicks go, but like one model you guys got right, which I enjoy using the most, is Sean Strickland's. From his stance, from his jab animation, his lead teep kick, like that's perfect. Like that is
I've always thought that Strickland was probably close to perfect as we've done.
that one was really good. But there's just certain move sets where it's like who's someone that I can think of on the fly. I don't want to keep it too long.
No,
Uh,
no, you're fine, but I don't have anywhere to be till like 4:30, so
yeah, I'm trying to think of someone who I've tried. So like, I haven't played with Figueiredo in a while, but like his stance, he should have the karate stance. He has a wide stance if you watch his fights, but for some reason he has like I think just a normal upright stance or like a boxer stance. It's like small stuff like that where um I don't know if him if or whoever is like watches their fights and like knows like how they stand, which strikes selection they like to use. Like me, like I when I watch fights, like I obsess over watching like small stuff like that from their stance or what strikes they like to use. So like half of the time, like if I pick somebody, I already know from the back of my head what that person's move set should be, like at least.
right. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but
and
yeah,
stuff like that is and I'll tell you from like his perspective too, like it's literally like the most thankless fucking job you could ever hope to have because like everybody has like 10 different dissenting opinions on who should have what stats and who should have what moves and stuff. So I really think like there's no way that he can make somebody where everybody's gonna be in agreement on like that he did a good job because like, there's always gonna be people like, oh what the fuck, this guy don't even have a fucking head kick, and here's example A, B, and C of him throwing a head kick in a fight, and it's like. But this is also a balanced competitive game, like we can't just give everybody
yes,
every fucking
yes,
strike, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
um, like maybe like Ilya Tapora, for example, like Ilya Tapora is capable of throwing a head kick, but like he's not
yep.
really signature on that shit. So like maybe it would make more sense to give him like Brad Pickett's kind of strikes or something.
That makes
Somebody
sense.
that doesn't have head kicks.
Yep.
Um, so
Or even yeah, yeah. I agree.
I think people don't have a lot of um they don't have a full understanding of how difficult of a task it is. Plus we have to kind of make it medium balanced where like they can be used because we use the same roster for uh Muay Thai, MMA, and bare knuckle boxing. So it's like we kind of have to make it where they can kind of all be utilitarian for all those things. So like
Yep.
you might have a character that could potentially be overpowered for BKB, for example, but they might be ass in MMA. Like
Yeah.
because maybe their takedown defense sucks or whatever, but maybe they just got these heavy fucking hands.
Hmm. No, yeah, that makes total sense. Which is why you would have to like really think about and like actually sit down and see, okay, let me see what I can give this guy or what's. And as far as the stats go, like the way I would treat the stats if someone were to ask me. So the way the stats work in UD3 is you want to treat the 80s as far as like let's say standing strikes. The 80s are the 90s as far as like for the new games, you know how like the new games like their standing strike will say 90 something.
Yeah,
The way you want to treat it, and the way I would treat it from like just making calves over the years and just like experimenting is you want to treat like the 80s stats is like your 90s. So if somebody has like 85 striking, that's actually really good in UD3. Like 85 standing strikes is really good. It's actually it plays like a 90. And then same goes for your defense. So if the standing strike offense is 85, your standing strike defense, let's say like you guys have Strickland's at 92, which is perfect. And I don't know if people know this, but the way standing strike defense works is yeah, like if I just stand there and you hit me, I think it does less damage. But one thing I know for sure is if I throw a jab or a jab cross, my recovery time to get my black up back is quicker than if a guy had a 70 standing strike defense. But I don't think people realize that because you'd have to like really pay attention. And but
So that's why you have these people where it feels like you're not pushing the fucking button because
Yeah, like
yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, this guy's hands just will not get up to his head.
yeah. So there are times, even like a simple punch like that, your recovery time to get back will be a little slower or a little bit quicker depending on the fighter. There's even like certain times too with this. I think with the swing as well, but I could be wrong. But as far as like the just, I'm just giving you an example of that. Like the way I would treat the stats is like your 80s, your 90s, and then you have your guys who are obviously like 90s, like I don't know who, like Stephen Thompson for sure has like 90 at minimum kicks, right?
Right,
You would,
for sure. If he doesn't,
um,
who else would, right? You know?
yeah. But for the most part, like your 80s, you want to treat your 80s. I would treat the 80s like the 90s for the baseline of like A tier striking. Um, and then
What would be like an ass amount? You know, like what's the lowest you would make somebody's like striking, for example? Like even if they're just like
yeah, yeah.
uh somebody that's not known for striking, if they're like a Damian Maya type or something.
Okay, that's actually a perfect question. Okay, so I remember early on in one of you guys' mods, you guys had Michael Chandler's standing strike defense at like 40 something. I'm sorry, but no
He's got a
one,
chin like hell too.
dude, no one in their mind in the UFC should have 40 something standing strike defense. Like, I don't care how bad your chin is. The minimum should be 65 to 70, nothing lower. Like, if you put anything lower than that, I don't care how bad your chin is. Like even someone like Travis Brown, anybody could rock
Right.
Travis Brown.
So yeah, so Travis like
Yeah.
the worst chin in the game where it would probably be 65.
Yeah, it would be like 65 cents, but anything below that, it's like you're kind of now you're making it too low to the point where like that character becomes unplayable because he is too easy to rock or just can't take too much damage and it demands the player to play perfect at a point.
Yeah, and this is gold to me because like it's so funny, dude, because you know I've played these games for so fucking long and I don't know anybody's fucking stats about anything. Cause like when I play this game, I typically just pick random and you know if I throw a crazy tech, you know, I know a couple people's movesets kind of intimately, but like I never like went through I'm not a menu and stat junkie, you know, and like Job was like showing me like this shit he was doing or whatever, and I'm like, dog, I'm like, I've never even been in that menu. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's pulling up menus from like UD3 where it's like got these records and stuff. I'm like, I've never even been in that fucking screen, man. Like, you know, I fire up the game, I play a match, and then I fucking go home. Like that's what I do. I don't even go into that world, man.
Yeah. No,
But
yeah,
I'm super thankful that people like you and Himoth and Job and people like that are like that because it's certainly not me. If I had to make the stats, dude, everybody'd be fucking furious at me.
yeah. I as far as stats go, I think stats is can be harder to gauge for fighters because like movesets you can kind of just see it like okay this guy does this guy does that, but stats can be harder to to make and especially like make everyone happy because some people will probably have more stronger opinions on stats than movesets. I'd feel, um, but yeah, I would just my method would be what I said with the you want to treat your 80s like your 90s in a sense. Um, And then I'm trying to think of something else as far as stats go. That's
Like
pretty much it.
yeah, like
Like,
strength or footwork or anything. I know
yeah,
like I kind of know what strength does. Like I know like if you're if you're in like a clinch situation, right, and you have the strength advantage, you can push the other person around typically as long as you're not gassed. Like is that one of the things it does?
um, one of the things I've noticed from strength in particular, from the obvious of how hard you hit, is if you're in the clinch, I can dictate. If I have more strength than you, I can dictate if I can push you back or forward.
Right.
So if you try to push me back and we're either in single collar, dub, whatever, I will have that advantage over you where I can bully you around in the clinch. Um, and then obviously comes the power with it, which is strikes. But and then the
Oh,
cardio. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I wonder what it if it's the same thing because like say somebody's on top of you and close guard, who dictates who can turn who? Because like a lot of times I'll try to turn people till I get my back off the cage, like that kind of stuff. And like
Yeah.
sometimes it'll give me the advantage there, and sometimes it'll let them turn me.
Yeah, that's what I like about this game, though. There's still stuff that we don't even probably know about that
Right.
like the stats may be doing, which really shows how much in depth this game can go. Um, but yeah, like you get the strip stat, the speed is obviously how quick and stuff. That's pretty self-explanatory, and then the card. Same thing goes for the cardio. The footwork, I do have questions on because it's like sometimes somebody may have a high footwork stat, but I truly believe that it is tied to the stance of that fighter.
You think
Um,
so? Okay.
yeah, like if I give Dominic Cruz, let's say 99 footwork, right? But then I attach him with the Diablo stance, his footwork is out the window. It doesn't matter how high his stat is. That
Oh,
Diablo stance is so heavy on that front leg that it is naturally going to move at a certain pace. Doesn't matter how high you put the footwork.
I
I'm
had
sure
no
you can.
idea. I had no idea that Stance did that.
That's what I feel. It's particularly with the Diablo stance. I'm not sure if it's with every stance, but particularly with the Diablo stance, I'm sure there's ways to test this where you just make a bunch of calves and just add Diablo stances and then add like let's say a 25, 50, 75, 100 footwork and test it out and see. But from my experience from playing, like dude, John Jones, right? On default on the vanilla version, he has the Diablo stance. Um, Dude, he moves so slow. Same thing goes with who's another guy who might have one at a lower weight class because light heavyweight's probably not fair to judge, but there's some other guys that I'm sure have some and have like decent footwork, but they move so slow. That stance is so bad. The only guys who should have that stance is guys like Nick Diaz, Nate, guys who stand really heavy on that front leg.
Yeah, that makes sense because yeah, you couldn't even picture Nick Diaz being like a really fast character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would look wrong, right?
Yeah, especially yeah, like it just looks like think about it. I don't know why they thought they give for the vanilla version, why they thought it was a good idea to give John Jones Diablo stance. When does John Jones stand like that? He usually stands pretty tall, you know? Which
I
would makes
don't
me
I do know like John Jones wasn't he wasn't as cemented, when this
yeah.
game came out. He was kind of like a newer champion really
Yeah, yeah.
when this game came out. So maybe they didn't give him the they obviously went all in with his move set, but like maybe they didn't give him that little extra something that they gave like Anderson Silva. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um but yeah, I would have you guys experiment with the footworks and testing that out and seeing. Um but that is my theory on the footwork stack at least.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna when we get off here, I'm gonna send you an invite to a little group thing that we got going on, and because I'm sure the guys would love a little bit of your input, and we're currently working on our new mod. It'll probably drop sometime in like the next month or something, I'd imagine, but before our new season kicks off, and it's gonna blow a lot of people's minds, I think. I want,
Yeah.
but that's what I really want. Like my goal for all this is for like somebody like you or Devin to like pick this shit up and go like, dude, they fucking nailed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I feel like we're getting closer to that because like people like Knapp and Job and stuff like they weren't even like playing this game anymore. But then they played our last mod and were like, holy shit, like this is fucking awesome, but I can also do better. You know what I mean? So like Joe was like, yeah, this is great. Like you got like 80% of the way there, but like now he's doing his own stats and stuff because he didn't feel like we did. He didn't have it the way he particularly wanted it. So he's doing his own, which is a lot of people seem to really like what he's doing. So yeah, I think that's what I want is just this team of people whose opinions I really value to be like, dude, this is fucking great because it just feels like every time we not just us but anybody puts a mod out, it's like, oh, this kind of looks cool, but plays like shit or the fucking stats are shit or whatever the deal is.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Devin aren't really invested as far as like the mods go because we just love playing the vanilla version and we like more of just the custom shorts on the vanilla characters.
Yep.
That's the side we're more interested in. Um,
Yeah, no,
but as far as
I
yeah,
love the vanilla game dearly. I mean, I'll always love the vanilla game, but just I honest like I don't think we're gonna get a lot of young players in if we keep having Jason Miller fighting fucking Jason Brills. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's important to getting the younger people in here.
it is. It is. It keeps the game fresh too with adding the mods, which helps. So you guys are definitely doing good with that part. Um, yeah. Hopefully, the new mod is even better.
Yeah, fingers crossed, man. We got a lot of bad motherfuckers working on it, so it's so cool to see everybody coming together like this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna let you get out here. Do you got anything else before we head out, dude?
Nothing else. Nothing else. Appreciate you having me on the pod, Frank. Appreciate it, man. Anytime.
Yeah, anytime you want to come back and join us, brother, we appreciate having you. So, ladies and
Yes, sir.
gentlemen,
Yes, sir.
night down.
Yes, sir.